Oh, you can do better than that. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, much better. Hey, thank you for joining us here on behalf of IBM and all of our sponsors. It's great to have you here. In fact, just before I came on this morning, I got told we passed over 12,000 attendees. So congratulations and thank you. Now, what we want to do this morning is we want to talk about smarter analytics. We want to talk about big data. We want to talk about thinking big. And we're going to share with you some insights. And, obviously being an analytics conference, we want to share with you some of the analytics that we've seen. And we've also got clients with us on stage who will share their journey to really show you, what? You got to get moving. You got to think big and you got to move now. In fact, really interesting studies. Every 2 years, we do a study of CEOs around the world. Typically around 1,800 plus CEOs, the CEOs of your businesses, and we ask them, what are the factors that are impacting your organization? You go back to 2004, technology was right on the bottom, number 6. Now you look at 2012, your CEOs have recognized that the greatest impact to their organization is not the market factors or macroeconomic that we talk about, but really is technology. And on that technology, data has gone to the forefront. Think of speed. 90% of you are now adopting cloud computing. There's over 1 billion smartphones and 1.2 billion mobile employees by 2014. 2.7 zettabytes. Now, I don't know what we're going to do when we run out of zettabytes. We'll come up with something new. But it is growing, and it's growing fast. That means the job that all of us have as technologists and as business leaders is going to change dramatically along with it. In fact, when we talk to the CIOs, we say, what's driving that innovation? And what's driving the market growth for your business? Number 1, big data analytics. Everyone understands those who can really get insights into their business, their processes, and more important, their clients and the wants and needs are the ones that are going to have a business that takes them to the front. They're going to be the ones that lead their industry. The interesting thing about the surveys, it doesn't matter where you are around the world anymore. We used to see differences whether you were in the US or other parts of the world. That difference is gone. It's also they're not different anymore by industry. We used to see some industries that were leaders and other industries that were laggards. No such thing anymore. All industries see the value. And if you look at it, mobility and the impact of mobility, when you think of mobility, it is generating unbelievable amounts of information. So I've got to connect all this analytics with mobility, cloud, business process security. So it's really becoming, all interconnected. Now, we really are kind of embarking on a new era of computing, and it is going to create unbelievably new business opportunities for all of us. But it is also going to present us with a set of IT challenges and a set of opportunities. Now, when you take a look at what you're dealing with, you have to deal with the 3 V's. Volume. Think T-Mobile. 17 billion events a day. From things like call records. They have to take that information, analyze in real time, because they want to provide a better service to their clients. And by the way, if you're in the mobile space, it's easy to move around. So they want to prevent churn because they want to increase the revenue that they get from their constituents. Velocity. Dublin City Council now uses real-time data in all of their transportation vehicles, whether it be a bus, a train. They get 50 updates a second. They can correlate the information in real time, understand the patterns, and can change and adapt, and now have one of the most efficient transportation systems in the world. You've got to deal with variety. We know we've got a lot of data locked up in all of these traditional databases, but that is pale in comparison to the amount of information that is out there, not only in your organization, but out there in the big, broad world. And we see the impact of unstructured data. Look at Vestas. Vestas is a company that does windmills. And when you think about windmills, okay, well, how do they use data? They analyze 2.6 petabytes of data Because when you put a windmill up, it's millions of dollars. It's going to be there for 20, 30 years. And guess what? If you make an error and you don't put it in exactly the right place, you're not going to maximize the amount of revenue and the efficiency of that product. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in. It doesn't matter what part of the world you're in. You are going to be affected by big data, and you really have to think about, how do I handle that? Look, we've seen this before. Think of the 1960s. You know, as computing was evolving, it was all about transaction systems. Banks got online. We started to do transactions. You know, all the airline reservation systems were all online. Then we saw a shift. The internet came along, and we saw the whole evolving e-business and SOA. We saw that start to evolve, and that changed the way we thought about applications. It changed the way we thought about providing transactions. Now, I contend that in 2010, we hit a new era. And that is the era of analytics. Now, when you think about analytics, it's not just about producing information, but it really is, how do I gather all that up? How do I provide really a platform that enables me to gather up all these sources of information and process it and get the insight? Because at the end, the outcome you want is the insight from the information. And if you can't get the information, and you can't get it in real time, I'll contend that the insight that you get won't be as good as you can. Now, that's why when we think about the big data, we think about it as a platform. There's a lot of people out there, when they think big data, they think Hadoop. Hadoop is a part of it. Hadoop will help you with unstructured data, but it's much more than that. I've got a lot of data in my content management systems. You all do. In your data warehouses. And by the way, you want to do stream computing because you want to do it in real time. You know, looking back at what has happened is important to look for patterns, but you want to be able to act and react in real time. So you've got to be able to do analytics on information in real time, not after the fact. But by the way, as we move to this world of big data, we are not getting a buy on things like information integration and governance. So you do have to worry, and in fact, I'll contend that that part of the problem is going to become an even bigger part of what we have to spend our time and effort on. And you know what? Big data is not something that's coming. Big data is something that's here. So what I thought was really important is to let you hear from an organization that is tapping into new sources of information in an innovative way to solve a business challenge in a really unlikely place. They have operations in 30 countries and are the largest producer of oil and gas north of the Arctic Circle. We're thrilled to have with us today the principal scientist who has over 25 years of industry experience in geophysical and computational R&D, Dr. Phil Anno from ConocoPhillips.